Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ratan Kumar, and I'm joined by my colleague Vish Nayak, Senior Solutions Architects here at AWS New Zealand. What we see is that processing of documents like PDFs or scanned images is a very common task in every business. So in this session, we want to share with you how you can use AWS AI Services to automate document processing, enhance customer experience, improve compliance, and most importantly, derive valuable insights from documents. All right, so what are we going to cover in the next 30 minutes? We'll start with some of the typical challenges with document processing. Then we'll look at how you can leverage AI capabilities to add intelligence into your document processing workflows. Then Vish will do a demo of document understanding solution. It's an AWS solution implementation which brings together all the relevant AWS AI services for building an intelligent document processing workflow. And finally, we'll wrap up with a few key takeaways. So let's get started. Okay, tell me how many of you can relate to an environment which looked similar to this, where documents were filed in files and folders physically, and you were lucky if you could find the right document. And there was just no way to derive data and insights hidden inside these documents. The fact is that paper documents are still very commonly used, and they continue to grow at 25% as per a study. So basically, this challenge of document processing and management isn't going anywhere anytime soon and remains a common challenge for enterprises of all sizes. Many of these enterprises have recently invested in document management solution. However, if you look at fundamentally what had changed, it is just the storage layer. So now, instead of storing physical copies, what we have is digital copies, again stored in files and folders. But did it really solve the problem? Probably not, because some of the same challenges and issues are still there. It has not helped organizations wanting to transition from document-heavy operations to becoming an insights-driven enterprise. So what can we do about it? Before we talk about solutions, I would like to draw your attention to this time value quadrant, because your mileage might vary depending upon the approach you choose to process the documents. For example, if you are processing a PDF invoice for payment, sooner you have access to the data like vendor ID, payment amount, payment due date, etc., more quickly you can process the invoice. Say you have access to the same data, but after the payment due date. Well, data is still relevant for data analytics purposes, finding trends or fraud detection, but you cannot use it for automating the payment. So the point is that the value of data gradually declines with time. And that's why speed matters when processing documents. However, not at the expense of accuracy of data, because if the data is not correct, well, not a lot you can do with it, right? Even if you have access to it within seconds. So the point is that both speed and data accuracy matters when architecting document processing workflows. All right. Let's take a look at a typical document processing workflow. You ingest documents into the pipeline, and these could be legal or financial documents or application forms. Then you can use different processes to extract data, either manually or using optical character recognition (OCR) tool. Then you ensure that the data is validated before finally storing it in the downstream systems. So really simple three-step process: ingest, extract, and analyze, or use. However, the most complex, error-prone, and time-consuming part of this whole process is the extract phase. Let's take a quick look at some of the common challenges with extract phase. You can extract data manually, but it can get very expensive very, very quickly. Also, it is error-prone and doesn't scale very well. Plus, there are several medical research papers which have highlighted the effects of data entry jobs on employees' mental and physical well-being. So it's not the best use of employees' time and skill set. Another common approach is OCR technology, which works well, but the challenge with that approach is you have to create rules and templates for every document type you process. You need to specify where in the document is invoice ID, vendor ID, dollar amount, etc. And this itself can add a significant amount of operational overhead. One more thing is that with OCR-based approach, meeting your compliance requirement is another challenge, because it doesn't tell you the nature of data it is processing, whether it is personal data, medical history, credit card number, etc. Okay, so to address some of these challenges, what we are seeing is that customers are now seriously considering how they can add artificial intelligence to their applications and workflows. However, they generally come across two roadblocks. Number one is finding the right resources, because there are only a limited number of engineers and data scientists with the machine learning expertise out there. Secondly, the whole process of training custom machine learning model and preparing the dataset takes a lot of time, something that not many businesses can actually afford or prioritize over all the other projects they have underway. And that's why we at AWS have put a lot of focus on building a broad set of AWS AI services to provide customers with pre-trained machine learning models to solve a number of common business use cases. For example, extracting text and insights from documents, which we're going to look at in detail in a moment. Customers can use Amazon Transcribe to transcribe call center recordings, find patterns in call logs, and measure customer sentiments. To help businesses meet COVID compliance and improve workplace safety, we created a computer vision model, which helps customers easily identify whether employees are wearing the PPE kit in the designated areas. There are hundreds of examples like that, where customers are able to easily add intelligence to their business applications and workflows using AWS AI services. And guess what? For most of these AWS AI services, you do not need any machine learning background. You can simply access it via AWS console or by calling the APIs. Okay, so now going back to the topic of creating intelligent document processing pipeline. So let's look at this concept at a very high level before diving deeper into the architecture. So first, you ingest the document, and then ingested document is processed by AWS AI Services, which will extract the data from the documents. What's exactly happening behind the scene here is that AWS AI Services are using pre-trained machine learning models to make predictions. And it also tells us how confident it is about the predictions using a confidence score between 1 and 100. Now, there are two scenarios. Either it can predict with high confidence, a happy path scenario, where data gets sent to the downstream system, easy. Other scenarios where confidence score is low. This is where you can send the data for human review. And you have control over the threshold for the confidence score below which you want human review, who can then make required corrections and save the data. So can you see what is different about this approach? Here, we're combining machine intelligence along with human review. And this gives us both speed as well as accuracy of data. So that's the high-level concept. Now let's dive into detail one phase at a time and look at the specific AWS AI services which you can use to build an intelligent document processing workflow. First step is, of course, you ingest documents either in batch or one at a time. Now, you can use Amazon TextRact to extract text from the documents. Amazon TextRact uses machine learning to automatically extract text from documents or handwritten text. You might ask, well, that's something my OCR solution can also do. Correct. But what Amazon TextRact also gives is relationships between extracted text. So you can easily extract key value pairs. It can recognize tables and forms in the document. And all of this without the operational overhead of managing any template or rules. Then, as I said earlier, you can augment it with human review. We know that implementing human review workflow can be complex because you need to provide an interface to show both original text and predicted text side by side, and set of UI controls to effectively engage human reviewers. And that's exactly what Amazon Augmented AI gives you out of the box, to make it simple to build and insert human review into the document processing workflow. Next phase is what we call understand phase. You can use Amazon Comprehend to understand the extracted text. This is where I think you get to see how machine learning makes a real difference. Amazon Comprehend can highlight if the extracted data is personal data, credit card number. It can give you the sentiment of the text. This allows you to automatically label or classify documents. You can also redact sensitive data before sending it to the downstream systems. All of this makes it easier for you to meet your compliance needs. And finally, you can store the data into Data Lake or Amazon OpenSearch to extract useful insights, or use the data to automate business processes. You can also use Amazon Kendra, an enterprise search service, to index your data and then query it using natural language search. This is something Vish is going to cover in the demo as well. Now, talking about some of the benefits of this approach. First of all, the AWS AI services we discussed are fully managed and scales with your need. So you can get started very quickly and reduce your time to market. Second, you get improved data quality by combining AI with human review. Third, you have much lower document processing cost, almost 10x more cost-effective than manual and OCR-based approach. And finally, given that you have access to the data quickly, you can process customers' requests quickly and deliver much better customer experience. Now I know what you might be thinking, that the approach sounds great, but how do I build an intelligent document processing workflow? Because I don't have time and resources to weave it all together. We hear you, and that's why we have built a reference implementation of this approach. It is called AWS Document Understanding Solution. And to give you a demo and talk more about it, I would like to invite my colleague, Vish Nayak. Over to you, Vish.
Thank you, Ratan. Hi, everyone. My name is Vish Nayak. I am a Senior Solution Architect here at AWS New Zealand. I'm going to talk about AWS Document Understanding Solution, which helps you to quickly get started with implementing intelligent document processing workflows in your use cases. The Document Understanding Solution is a web application that customer can leverage for enterprise search, document digitization, document discovery, as well as extraction and redaction of important pieces of information. The solution leverages services such as Amazon Textract and Amazon Comprehend to extract critical information such as key value pairs, entities, as well as structural components such as tables and forms from the documents, as well as images. Once the document has been processed, there are three major features that you can take advantage of. The first one is search. With Document Understanding Solution, all the processed files are indexed into OpenSearch and optionally Amazon Kendra. And then customers can search inside a document or across documents using either keywords or natural language queries. The second feature is compliance or redaction. This solution offers the ability to redact sensitive pieces of information such as PII data as well as PCI data. And the third feature is workflow automation. The Document Understanding Solution easily plugs into your existing upstream or downstream applications. Let's see all this in action using a demo. The Document Understanding Solution provides this web interface or a static website which is hosted on Amazon Simple Storage Service, a highly durable and scalable object storage service from AWS. The website is also served through Amazon CloudFront, a CDN service from AWS. To begin with, we must log into the application. The authentication and authorization is provided by Amazon Cognito, Amazon Cognito really makes it easy to integrate your SAML-compliant authentication providers like Active Directory or integrating social identity providers such as Facebook, Amazon, or Google. Once we log in, the document understanding solution presents these 3 tracks. I'll start with the workflow automation. Each track will have a tooltip providing you all the details and features associated with each of those tracks. To begin with, each track will show a document list, a list of already processed documents that are existing in the system. By default, when you deploy a document understanding solution, we deploy a few sample medical documents for your reference. You can also upload documents from your system or use a webcam from your computer to take the picture and upload that image. For this example, I'm going to upload one of the sample payslips that I have in my computer. The document will take anywhere between 45 seconds to 1 minute to get processed based on its size. And once it is processed, I'll open the document and show you all the sections and all the information that is extracted using Amazon Textract and Amazon Comprehend. This file is very small, so it should be ready anytime now. There you go. If I open the document, this is the payslip image that we have uploaded into the application. This is where Textract has gone, read this image, and collected all the information available within this payslip. You can see that in the right-hand side too. It's also important that it extracts key value pays. As you can see, Textract has extracted employee code, employee full name, and department from the payslip, for example, which may be very useful in your downstream systems. It's very common that the images or documents will have tables and forms. As you can see in this payslip, it has number of tables. One of the coolest features of document understanding solution is really allows you to extract and download tables and forms as a readable CSV. You can also send this information to your downstream systems as a JSON or a CSV. The final tab I'm going to show you in this section is entities. This is where Amazon Comprehend has read the text, understood the context, and identified named entities. What I mean by that is, as you can see in the payslip, it's provided by example corp, as well as payslip is directed towards a bank for the payment of the salary. And if I select the organization as entity, Comprehend has identified those texts as an organization. Similarly, if I look at the date, it has identified the payslip supply date, date of birth, date of joining, and understood that context and identified those texts as date entities. Next, I will select the second track, which is compliance. The main purpose of this track is to redact sensitive information. Let's open the same file. And if I go into the entities tab, I can choose what to redact. For example, I want to hide organization as well as I want to hide location. And once redacted, you can either download this redacted file directly from the solution so that you can share it with your partners or other team members, or you can also send this to downstream systems without having to expose those sensitive information. Another cool feature of document understanding solution is that you can directly search text within an image. That means the solution has converted this image file into a searchable PDF. As you can see, you can search and as well as redact that part of the text. And the final track that I'm going to show you here is a discovery or search. The solution supports both key value search as well as natural language query. So I'm going to issue a natural language query here. For example, let's search for what is Jane's salary in, let's say, in March 2021. As you can see, the results should come from both OpenSearch and Kendra, and we can compare it side by side. As you can see, Kendra has understood my natural language query, matched and also highlighted the text based on my search, as well as located the right document, and I can directly open the document from those search results. The final thing I would like to cover is AWS Solutions Library. This is a library where we have all the vetted or pre-curated solution that you can reuse for your use cases, including document understanding solution. This website will have all the information relating to the solution, including overall architecture, the list of services used in the solution, as well as estimated cost if you decided to run this solution. The documentation also has a link to the GitHub repo, which is an open source project. And finally, and most importantly, it has a CloudFormation template that you can use to deploy this solution into your AWS account with just a couple of clicks. That's it from the demo. What we have covered is that we have uploaded a payslip. We saw how to extract and comprehend, extract all the useful information like entities, key value pairs, tables, and forms. Also, how it helps to achieve compliance by redacting sensitive information. Finally, we saw how document understanding solution helps you with the keyword as well as natural language query search. Now that we have gone through the demo, let's take a look at the solution architecture. At high level, there are 4 phases in the solution that are ingestion, extraction, document understanding, and analysis. Let's start with the ingestion first. The user experience begins with a web application serverlessly hosted on Amazon S3 and served by Amazon CloudFront. The application uses Amazon Cognito for authentication and authorization, and it uses Amazon API Gateway for handling user requests such as search or downloading documents. A user can upload files through the user interface, or there is also an option for uploading large number of documents at once for bulk processing. The next step is extraction. Once the file is uploaded and its metadata is stored in DynamoDB, a DynamoDB event stream immediately kicks off the processing of the document. A Lambda function decides which of the 2 processing paths the file should follow. For image files, because they tend to be small, we use synchronous flow. PDFs, on the other hand, can be very large, up to hundreds of pages. And so for that, we use an asynchronous flow. Let's see how the Textract API works under the hood. I'm using Boto 3 and AWS SDK for Python as an example here. We initiate a call to Textract's Analyze Document API endpoint. And as you can see, there's an option to pass the S3 file as a parameter. Once the file is processed, Textract responds with a JSON with all the extracted information and metadata such as identified text, a geometry, the location of the recognized text, which can be used to redact or replace sensitive information later in your workflow, and also a confidence score for accuracy of the extracted text. The next stage is understand. Once the file is processed by Textract, it will be sent to Amazon Comprehend to detect and extract named entities. Let's see how Comprehend API works. Again, Boto 3 is used for this example. We initiate a call to Comprehend's Detect Entities API endpoint. And as you can notice, there's an option to pass the text as a parameter. In our case, we would pass text that is extracted by Amazon Textract in a previous step and send it to Comprehend. Once the text is analyzed, Comprehend responds with a JSON with extracted information and metadata such as identified entity, location of the entity, also a confidence score for accuracy. As we saw, both Amazon Textract and Comprehend provides confidence score for accuracy of extracted information. You could leverage Amazon Augmented AI or A2I service to easily integrate human review to enrich the information for those low score items. You can also easily implement iterative model improvements for addressing data with poor quality. And the final step is consolidating the extracted information from Textract and Comprehend and automatically indexing that into OpenSearch and optionally Amazon Kendra. This provides the user with the ability to search across and within the document from user interface using either keywords or natural language queries. And that is the general user flow. The only thing I didn't really go over in detail is the DynamoDB tables, which are used for storing metadata. This metadata is important for coordinating the backend processing required by this application. Artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities can be leveraged into many use cases. For example, digitizing and storing customer feedback forms and request forms, or converting invoices and balance sheets into consumable CSVs, or even integrating intelligence within your business applications such as loan application automation in financial services industries. Customers from all industry segments leverage AWS AI and ML services for a range of use cases that we discussed. Just to give you an example, NIB is a large health insurance provider with millions of customers in Australia and New Zealand. NIB uses Amazon Textract as part of their automated claim processing application. Users could simply take the picture of their receipts and submit the claim via this application. AWS AI Services then do all the heavy lifting of extracting the content and making it available to NIB's claim system, making it really easy and simple for claim processing staff. This also means that claims are processed faster, resulting in a much better customer experience. The second use case is from Geoscience Australia, another customer who leverages AWS AI and ML services to examine the geology and geography of Australia. As they focus on securing Australia's natural resources by their Earth observation infrastructure, climate change analysis, and also emergency management system. And all these use cases leverage AI and ML services from AWS. So in this session so far, we have covered how document processing can be automated using AWS AI and ML services. How a curated solution like Document Understanding Solution can help you quickly integrate intelligence into your use case. With the broadest and deepest set of AI and ML services, AWS can help guide you on your machine learning journey. We can work with you to figure out the business challenges you want to solve by using machine learning and help you identify the right use case. We offer in-person training for both technical and business stakeholders through our AWS Machine Learning Embark program, as well as a full free online training and certification program for your developers. Here is the link for Document Understanding Solution. Please scan and visit the link for details, and I really encourage you for contributing to our solution by adding customizations and enhancements by a pull request. It's an active open source project, so log issues or requests, and we are happy to address your needs. To continue your cloud journey, please use these training resources. Scan one or both of the QR codes on the screen to get started with your cloud skills training and certification. Thank you for watching. We really value your feedback to help us improve our sessions, so please share your rating. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the summit.